Welcome to the Stay Calm and Well series for teens. I'm Bernadette Melnick, and I have the privilege of being Vice President for Health Promotion, the university's Chief Wellness Officer, and Dean of the College of Nursing at The Ohio State University. I also want to let you know that I am a pediatric nurse practitioner with an adolescents subspecialty and a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. I absolutely love teenagers. I have worked with teens throughout all of my career, and I'm very passionate about helping teens to lead healthier lives. It is so important to establish healthy habits now. Unfortunately, we are seeing a rise in anxiety, stress, and depression in adolescents. We have had such a stressful time with the pandemic and the racial tensions that exist now in our country. And I personally wanted to bring teenagers a wonderful educational and skills-building lecture series that could help you cope better with stressors in your life and help you to engage in healthy lifestyle behaviors. It's my hope that you will not only listen to each of the lectures in this series, but you will take them seriously and practice the skills building content that the college students teach. You put it into practice every single day for a week before you listen to the next series. Behavior change, thought change takes time and it takes practice. So enjoy the series, really engage in it. It will help you to reach your optimal health and well-being. Now I'd like to introduce my wonderful nursing student, Taylor Schwein, who is going to talk to you about building coping skills through use of cognitive behavior techniques. Enjoy, best wishes, and stay well.
Hi guys, my name is Taylor Schwein. I am a fourth-year nursing student at The Ohio State University. I am so excited to be with you guys today and just talk to you a little bit about how to maintain your mental health and manage stress during everything that's going on in the world right now. It's definitely a super stressful time. It can be very overwhelming, and you're not the only one who feels that way. So we're just going to kind of go through some skills. They're technically called cognitive behavioral skills, and it's just a really fancy way to say that we're teaching your brain how to be more positive and better deal with stress, anxiety, and depressive symptoms. So again, we're just kind of talking about stress in our everyday life, and these are things that you can apply to any aspect of your life, but today specifically, we're going to talk about what this looks like during the global pandemic we're in, and how you can help stay calm during COVID. So COVID-19 is definitely triggering stress, anxiety, and depressive symptoms in everyone. So you're not alone if you feel this way. A lot of other people are too. And a lot of things that could be stressing you out right now are the fear of if you catch COVID or if one of your loved ones does, you feel really lonely because we all have to physically distance right now. You're just very stressed with everything going on, or maybe your family members are stressed if they're out of work or they're just having some changes in your lifestyle. A lot more anxious feelings, that just feeling that you don't have any control over what's going on. Social withdrawal, because again, you're probably not hanging out with your friends right now. You weren't able to finish the school year and finish your sports. So you've been at home with family, and then trouble sleeping too, just because it is very overwhelming right now. So too much stress, anxiety, or depressive symptoms can interfere with your daily functioning, and that's the point where you need to stop and ask for help, and you should not be afraid to ask for help because, again, everyone's feeling like this right now. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. We're all going through a lot, and it's important that we're taking care of ourselves during this incredibly challenging time too. So if you're feeling like some of this stuff relates to you and you're just very stressed and overwhelmed, ask for help. Talk to a parent, another family member, one of your teachers, a nurse practitioner or doctor that you go to. Really just any adult that you can trust is a great resource to kind of connect you to get the help that you need to feel better. So like we said, with COVID-19, there can be a lot of reasons to feel stressed and anxious right now. This picture may resonate with you as one of those. You can normally go to the grocery store, find whatever you need, take it back home with you, and you're good to go. But especially when all of this started, you may have gone to the store and there's no milk, there's no water bottles, there's no bread. And that's really scary to just go in there and think that you can't get what you need, you can't take it back home with you, and you're not going to have what you need to get through the day. So again, one of just many reasons that it's a really stressful time right now. COPE with COVID is an acronym that Dean Byrne-Melnick came up with. She's the Dean of the College of Nursing and the Chief Wellness Officer at Ohio State. And these are just some things to remember to get through this time. So starting with COPE, control the things that you can, not the things that you can't. If you can't change it anyways, don't worry about it. Open up and share your feelings. It's really important that we're physically distancing, not socially distancing. We need to be there with our friends and family, talk about what's going on, support them, get support for ourselves, and feel that sense of community, even if it's over Zoom or FaceTime. Practice daily stress reduction tactics, including physical activity. Working out is amazing for your mental health. It's safe to go back outside, go on a run, play sports in your neighborhood, do whatever you feel is safe, and just kind of help yourself calm down. And then engage in mindfulness. Be here now. Worrying's not going to help. We're going to talk about mindfulness a little bit later, but it's basically focusing on the present moment, what's happening in your life, in your day right now. You're not worried about what happened yesterday, and you're not worrying what's going to happen tomorrow. You're just focused on what's going on right now. And then for COVID, count your blessings daily. Practicing gratitude is a great way to improve your mental health, especially in a time like this. We all kind of need to reflect and find those things that we can be grateful for. Overturn negative thoughts to positive. We're going to take a lot of time to talk about that today as well. It's really important that when you notice that you're feeling bad or feeling down and you're having some negative thoughts, that you can recognize that and turn those into positive so you feel better. Volunteering to help others is super important. Right now, a lot of people need a lot of help in different ways. You can always find a way to help, and sometimes helping others is a great way to make yourself feel better. Identifying helpful support and resources. Like we've been talking about, there's nothing wrong with needing to ask for help and finding that help. So if you want to get online and look for some resources to help with your mental health, or again, asking an adult that you trust if they can help you make those connections. And then, of course, do your part to prevent the spread of the virus. Stay home when you can, wear a mask in public, wash your hands, be aware of vulnerable populations that could get the disease, and just make sure that you're helping so we all stay safe and healthy. So one of the first skills that we're going to talk about today is this called the thinking, feeling, behaving triangle. And this is an evidence-based treatment. We know that it works to help with stress, anxiety, and depression. So it's really simple. As you can see here at the top of the triangle, it says thinking. It connects down to feeling and then behaving. And this is just explaining that how you think affects how you feel, and as a result affects how you behave. So just kind of thinking about it, let's say you're thinking about coronavirus and you're just thinking, this is horrible, everything that I wanted to do got canceled, I didn't get to finish my track season, I'm not at school. And when you're thinking all that, how does that make you feel? Probably really upset, maybe you're crying, sad, feeling lonely, and just kind of feeling like it's not fair, and you're just upset. And behavior, when you're feeling that way and you're in a bad mood, maybe you're isolating yourself even more and you're not hanging out with your siblings or calling your friends, and you're just kind of keeping to yourself and being alone and not reaching out. And all of that behavior of staying at home, maybe lashing out or getting irritated faster than usual, comes from the negative thoughts you have about the situation. So a way that you can flip that super easily is instead of thinking about everything that you're missing, think about those things that you can be grateful for. You're going to get to do your sports next season. Hopefully you can always go back out and hang out with your friends again. School will start, concerts will get rescheduled, all those things you missed out will come back. The world will get back to normal eventually. And just think about the positives in that. Even though this has been hard, we've all had to give up a lot, we were also helping protect people and have them stay healthy. And when you're thinking like that, you're going to feel a lot better. You're going to feel very grateful. You're going to feel happy, and you're going to feel like good things are coming, and you'll be excited about that. And that will reflect in your behavior too. You'll be in a lot better mood. You'll want to be with the people in your home, reach out to friends, even if it's just over Zoom. And you'll just be more excited about what's to come and grateful that you did your part to help in the situation. So again, those are two very different ways to look at COVID. You can be grateful that you helped keep people healthy and excited for what's to come, or you can just be really upset that you lost out on a lot of things and things are changing and it's frustrating. And even though it's valid to feel that way, it's important that we don't sit in that too long and we start changing how we think and feel and behave so we can be in a better mood and just have a better mental health and feel better. So the active components of cognitive behavioral therapy, which is just saying these are the things that you need to consciously be aware of, actively do, make the effort to do to make that work for you. One of those is reducing negative thoughts. So like we were just talking about, it's okay to feel all of the feelings. You need to go through a healthy spectrum of emotions. It's not normal to just be super happy and excited constantly. You're allowed to feel the bad stuff too, but kind of setting a limit for that and reducing those negative thoughts. And when you catch yourself feeling down, feeling upset, or feeling irritable, reflecting on how to make it positive and finding those things to be grateful for and look forward to. Increasing pleasurable activities. I know that there's still some limits right now, but finding those things that you really enjoy doing. Maybe it's watching Netflix, going outside for a walk with your pet, playing a game with your parents or your siblings, and doing all of those things that make you happy and finding enough time to do those as well. Super important to make sure you're doing a little bit of that every single day. And then also improving your assertiveness and kind of doing what you want, going after what you want, and problem solving skills. So we're going to talk about problem solving skills here in a few minutes, but it's important that you're taking control over life and what you can. For example, when school was going on, you had that control to manage your schoolwork, get those assignments done, and take action there. So it's important to keep control over what you can. So a common thing that you have when you think negatively is called automatic thinking. And we're going to go through some examples. And you'll probably resonate with a lot of these and just think that they're super relatable. You've thought them before. Maybe you think them often. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all do. This is kind of how our brain is just naturally wired to work. And the important thing is to recognize these, notice when you're doing them, and switch it into a positive frame. So for example, the all or nothing thinking, anything less than an A is not acceptable. And that's just not true. You need to be able to recognize that you can always do better. If you didn't get an A, there's room for an improvement. And as long as you did your best, it's still okay. If you don't get an A or an F, there's plenty of space in between that is acceptable. Mind reading, I think we all tend to do this a lot. You just assume you know what's going on in someone else's brain. Like, she doesn't think I'm smart, or he doesn't like me, when in reality, you have no idea what they're thinking. You're just, maybe they're being quiet today. Maybe they didn't sit with you at lunch, and you're just kind of worried for no reason. And it's normally something that they're going through or they're dealing with, and it doesn't have a whole lot to do with you. So it's important that you don't assume what other people are thinking, but you just ask them what's going on. Overgeneralization or labeling. These are things like, I'm stupid just because you got 1 C on a test. Even if you had a whole bunch of A's, that 1 C is really upsetting you. Or I can't do anything right. Maybe you made a mistake on one thing you were working on, but chances are there's a lot of stuff that you're very good at, and you need to focus on that instead. Mental filters, when you only see the negative. So it's, I got 9 out of 10 questions right on that test, and all you can think about is the one that you got wrong and how you should have known it. When well over majority you did a great job on, you got a 90%, and you're just focusing on the bad one. So it's really important that you're able to kind of weigh the positive and negative, see that 9 out of 10 is still a great job, and just know that you have another chance to do better next time. Minimizing or catastrophizing, which just means exaggerating a lot. I got a D on this one test. I'm going to fail out of high school and I'm never going to get into college. Sometimes it feels that way and it can be so overwhelming when you're disappointed in the outcome of something, but it's normally not as bad as it seems. Just because you got a D on one test, you can certainly do better, pick up your grades. You're not going to flunk out of school, and you'll still have a chance to get into college. So it's kind of important to be realistic with things, see how it's going, and just keep it in that perspective. Should and must statements. We always say at the College of Nursing, don't should on yourself. I should be a better student. Know that you're doing the best that you can. You're studying as much as you can. If you need extra help, you're getting it. You're asking for extra help from your teachers, asking them questions, studying with friends. You're doing the best that you can. You shouldn't be a better student. You're being the best one that you can, and that's what matters. And then the last one, which I'm really guilty of, is personalization. When something happens, even if it doesn't have a whole lot to do with you, you make it about you. Like, they rescheduled the party just so I couldn't come specifically. Or we lost the game and it's all my fault. And that one's never true, you know? There's a whole team playing the game. Not one person is in charge. If it's a loss or if it's a win, it falls on the entire team as a group. And with that party example, that's probably not true. They probably didn't even know you couldn't come that night, and they have a different reason for rescheduling it. So it's important to remember that not everything is about you in the bad sense, and there's other reasons for things that are going on, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time. You just have to be able to take a step back and recognize that. So in CBT, which is those cognitive behavioral skills we've been talking about, we teach the ABCs. So we'll go over this, but the A is for the activating event, and this is your stressor. So this is whatever it is that makes you feel a negative emotion, whether that's sad, stressed, mad, angry, whatever it is, your activating event. And then after that, you have a negative thought, which is the belief. So whatever triggered you and made you upset is causing you to think something that's not so great either. And that's the B. That's the belief that you're having because of the event. So the whole point of CBT is to train your brain to go, stop, we're not doing this. I need something positive instead. So you replace that negative belief with a positive one. And then that gets to the C, which is the consequence. And because you now have a positive thought instead of a negative one, you're going to have positive emotions. You're going to feel a lot better, and positive behaviors. You're going to be acting a lot better and treating the people around you a lot nicer because you took the time to stop and reflect and find a better outlook for the situation. So something that you guys should take the time to do is think of examples of the automatic negative thoughts that you have. When we went through that list, there were probably at least a few that you thought, I've definitely thought that before. I think that all the time. And again, that's okay. It's just good that you're recognizing that and knowing that it's not the best way for you to be thinking. So think back to a recent time when you were anxious, depressed, angry, anything that's negative like that, and kind of go through step by step on why the situation played out that way. So what was the activating event that made you upset? And like it says here, it's probably not something that you could have control over, and that's probably what upset you. And once that happened, what was your belief? Automatically, the first thing that popped in your mind that was probably negative, what did it make you think as a result of that action? And then how did you feel? That's your emotional consequence. You probably didn't feel too great if you were upset about what's going on. And then your behavioral consequence, because of how you were thinking and feeling, how did you behave? Again, did you have a short fuse to mom and dad and snap a little bit quicker? Did you decide to ignore your friends and shut off your phone for the night and just be alone? What did you do since you were upset? And then now that you've kind of gone through the situation and you know what upset you, how you were feeling, and went through that process, looking back, what could you do next time so you don't respond that way? How can you catch the negative thought and reframe it? How can you find a better way to look at the situation and be happier about it in general? So again, catching your automatic negative thoughts. When you notice that your mood is changing or getting super intense or just in general going to negative direction, ask yourself, what is going through my mind right now? What am I thinking about? Why am I thinking about this? And second, is this thought really true? Because like we said, if you think that someone changed the date of their party just to make sure you couldn't come, that's probably not really true. So kind of give yourself that reality check. I'm really upset about this, but it's probably not actually about me. And is this thinking helpful? If it's negative thinking that's making you feel bad, then it's not helpful. You don't want to go out of your way to make yourself feel bad and make yourself extra stressed or upset. So reflect on, is this thinking helpful? And then, do I have the evidence to back this up? For example, you can't say that the party was changed just because of you if you don't have the evidence to back that up without asking the person. So when you aren't having true thoughts and they're not helpful and you don't have the evidence to back them up anyways, it's not worth your time to worry about it. It's more important to be positive, take care of your mental health that way, and put yourself in a better mood. So some skills for the thought stopping, because you're probably thinking, my brain thinks what it wants. How am I supposed to just tell my brain to stop being negative? It's kind of important to find whatever works best for you. So one way, like the picture on here, is to visualize a stop sign. Every time that you catch yourself thinking something bad, visualize a stop sign in your head that's just telling you, stop it, we're not going to do this, we're going to think happy thoughts. Or if you have like a rubber band or a hair tie on your wrist, you can kind of snap it. And that's a physical reminder. As soon as you think negative, you snap your wrist, and then you're going to stop thinking negative, right? Because you don't want to keep snapping yourself. Visualize watching that negative image on a TV, and then visualize yourself turning the channel into something happier. Or using imagery skills to switch to a pleasant image. So if you're really upset, you're getting very worked up, and you're just super mad about something, stop and think about whatever makes you happy. Maybe you love the beach more than anything in the world. So right in the middle of getting mad, just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine what it would be like to be on the beach and looking at the sand and the waves. And is it warm? And does your skin feel salty from swimming? Just think about something that will put you in a better mood that you love a lot, and you'll catch yourself feeling a lot happier after. So, like we said, cognitive behavioral therapy is literally programming your brain to have positive thoughts. The evidence behind it shows us that we are rewiring our brain to naturally think positively instead of negative. So this is just kind of a reminder that we're going to give ourselves positive thoughts, so positive thoughts come out of us as well. And another way to help with positivity is to do positive self-talk. You should find some self-statements that we'll talk about and say them 10 times in the morning right when you wake up, and then 10 times at night right before you go to bed. So some examples that are on here: I'm going to stay calm, I am healthy and strong, this won't last forever. And those are kind of specific to COVID. It's about, being calm, healthy, and COVID cannot last forever, but you can definitely personalize these to what you're going through more specifically. So maybe you're worried about grades during the school year. You can tell yourself, I am smart, I am capable, I am going to pass the class. And these can change constantly. You won't have the same positive self-talk statements forever. They should, and they will change on whatever you're going through. So think about what matters to you right now and what you could maybe use some help with, and make those your positive self-talk statements. A great way to remember doing this is to either set a reminder on your cell phone to go off in the morning and at night with that statement, so you see it and you're thinking it and saying it. Or maybe putting a little sticky note like on your bathroom mirror. So when you're brushing your teeth in the morning and at night, you'll see it. And of course you can think them, but it's a lot more effective to say them out loud, even if you're just talking to yourself. Another great tip is to spend 5 minutes in the morning and at night either reading a book that you love, like this as a positive thinking book, just kind of giving yourself at the beginning and the end of the day some time to calm down, cool off, unwind, and get ready for bed in a healthy way. So a little bit about problem solving skills. It's important that we go through a series of steps so that way we're dealing with the problem in a healthy way and we're weighing our options. So of course the first step is, what is the problem? What are you dealing with? What's going on? What's your issue? And then once you have identified that, what are the possible causes of this problem? Who's involved? What made it happen? Is it going to last forever? Is it a big problem or is it a small problem? Just kind of analyzing why it became a problem in the first place. And then what are 2 to 3 solutions to the problem? It's really important to come up with 2 to 3 different ideas to solve the problem, because if you just go with the first thing that pops into your head and you didn't spend a whole lot of time thinking about it, it may not be the best solution. It may be a rushed decision that you're just going to try to do super quick, and it's not the best idea. So when you have those 2 to 3 solutions to the problem, you can weigh the pros and cons and think about what's best for you, what's best for the other people involved in the situation. Is one solution going to help actually fix it more than another solution? And just kind of weigh the options like that. And then now that you have those options and you did the pros and cons, you can pick the best one and act on it. And again, that's why it's so important to give yourself options, because sometimes the first idea you have isn't your best one. And if you just take a little bit of time and comb through some options and get creative, you can find an even better one. And that can be the decision that you make to get through the problem. So again, I mentioned we would be talking about mindfulness and staying in the present moment. So the first part of mindfulness is deep breathing. So sync your breathing with this. As it goes out and gets bigger, take a deep breath in and hold it. And as it gets smaller, exhale that breath. We'll do it together. And you can breathe in with your mouth, out through your nose, whatever you're comfortable with, but just taking a few really big, deep breaths, nice and slow, like this picture is showing you, is a great way to calm yourself down and just really focus on your breathing and your body and what you're doing in this exact moment. So some stress management apps. This is a great way to have something. You have your phone with you all of the time, and having something on there that can directly help yourself with stress is a great idea. So Headspace and Calm are two very popular apps. I have a lot of friends who use Headspace and love it. These are both free apps. They have a paid advanced version, but the free one is great and has tons of things to help you. They have kids versions as well. Headspace has meditations for different things, whether it's stress, anxiety, or you're trying to fall asleep, and it helps with focusing and being calm. And then the Calm app has a bigger focus on some meditation as well, practicing the mindfulness, and then having some sleep stories to calm you down, as well as calming music to help you go to bed at night. So those are both really good apps if you want some additional help on your phone. Coming back to those positive thinking statements that we were talking about, we're going to go ahead and make some. So first, you need to think about 2 negative automatic thoughts that we talked about earlier in that list that you have a lot. So out of those, what did you really identify with? What were you like, I've definitely thought that before? Take that and just kind of come up with 2 of those first, and then change them. So if you're an all or nothing thinker and you say, I'm going to get an A or I'm going to fail, change it into a positive self-statement. I'm going to try as hard as I can to get an A in that class. I am capable of getting an A. I will get an A. That way you're not thinking you get an A or you fail. You're just telling yourself you're capable, you're smart, you can get the A, you'll get the A. It's a much more positive way to think about that situation. So you can come up with 2 or more. And again, start with the negative things that you struggle with and then figure out how to reframe them into positive. And like I mentioned, just place them somewhere that you can see them every single day in the morning and the night so you don't forget. And say them 10 times, twice a day for the next week, and you'll see how much better you feel. And it's also important to know that you're not going to get off of this little call and magically think more positively, be happier, and be a master of cognitive behavioral therapy. It doesn't work quite like that. It takes a lot of practice. The evidence shows us that 30 to 60 days of consistent practice, so using that thinking, feeling, behaving triangle, using those problem-solving skills, saying those positive self-talk statements, after 30 to 60 days, it becomes a habit. It does literally rewire your brain, and that's what you'll be thinking about instead. And you'll just naturally lean to react more positively instead of negatively. So don't give up. It does take some time and practice, but just keep at it, and it will become so natural to you, much more natural than thinking negatively. So kind of reflecting on those skills that we had, you can go ahead and put your ABCs into practice. So think about a situation or 2 that you had in the past week, and how did negative thinking affect how you felt or how you behaved? So what is something in the last week or so that made you feel really anxious, really sad, really lonely? Remind yourself of that situation. And again, you probably responded negatively. You probably weren't feeling the best, weren't acting the best, didn't have the best thoughts towards it. And take a moment, how could you have changed your thinking to be more positive? And that would have made you feel and act better. And then down here, this is just a review of those ABCs. A is your activator. What was that situation that made you upset? B is your belief. Because of that activator, what did you believe about the situation? How are you thinking? And then you have the emotional consequence and the behavioral consequence. How did that situation make you feel, and how did it make you act? And just like with our problem solving, once you broke that down, reflecting now that it's over, how could you have changed what you thought so you would have felt better and behaved better? So it's important to maintain hope. Rainbows follow rain, just like we see on this great picture. I know it can be so overwhelming right now. This global pandemic feels like the whole world is coming down around us and it's changing everything. But we have to believe that we're going to get something really, really good after this, and things are can only look up from here. They're going to keep getting better. And this is a little thank you from joining us today from Dr. Byrne, the Chief Wellness Officer, as well as her office and her Buckeye Wellness team, who all helped to put this on. If you enjoyed this session, definitely come back next week, July 1st, from 10 to 10:30. Ellie, another OSU nursing student, will be talking about physical activity at home. Again, physical activity is so good for your mental health. It'll make you feel so good once you're done. And she's going to go over some tips and tricks for what that looks like. And then if you have anything that you would like to contact the College of Nursing on, this is Dr. Melnick's information.